Here's an example of some of the dragon bloods that I cut in half. I've done this to hundreds, and all of them have not formed that casing here. It's very soft. There's no casing, hard casing. Sometimes that extends in 4 inches and it fails as far as the cutting is concerned. And then what I've come up with is a cutting there like that, which will eventually heal itself when this whole thing grows. Might take 20 years for that to disappear, or it might not even disappear, that little cutting there, but that doesn't matter. It'll be fully branched, that dragon blood there. Here we have another example. That one extends down low, but that'll heal. Actually, I haven't got my V cut in there. I should do that. So here's one that I did, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And let's have a look. Very hard to see, but there's the original where I cut the dragon blood in half, and it has actually healed very hard. So I actually make that 2. So and there's the roots of the extended growth, which is shot off here probably 20 years ago. Let's have a better look at what's going on here. Yeah, that's healed solid, and actually there's some dragon blood resin which is healing it. So I've only seen dragon blood resin when it's when the tree's about 20 years old. So this is another rare specimen. It's probably about 1 metre tall. No, make that 2 metres. 2 metres tall. And there's the other ones which have been cut in half a few years ago. There's one that's coming on. Again, I should cut that V in there, but that's quite deep in there, that cut. And here's another one with the V cut, and several branches have taken off here, like that. There you go. That's how you divide dragon bloods. There's a beautiful specimen here, absolutely so symmetrical. I've got them sitting in the shade here. Actually, we've got vicious summers of 50 degrees Celsius, so they're currently in the shade, escaping from that heat. And of course, the dragon blood can't handle that kind of heat. People think that they're an arid plant, but they're not. Here's a couple that I've planted, or make it 3, 45 years ago. That stands 5 metres tall. That fence over there, the green fence, is 2 metres tall. So they're nearly 6 metres. They've branched naturally. There's one that's branched naturally. Magnificent specimen that I planted well over 40 years ago, and I germinated the dragon blood from seed. Got to walk back about 20 metres to get those there in view. Oh look, whilst I'm at it, let's go back to the other dragon bloods I've got. I've got a few hundred little ones coming up, and of course here's some others that I've at 6 metres. These are probably 10 years old. The one there's probably 45 years old. Let's go over to the one which has actually formed that really hard casing, and it's quite exciting. This normally doesn't happen. You can hear that, that is solid wood. I've just damaged it a little bit there. Solid wood. So that's the dragon blood healing itself. And this one's about 6 metres tall. Again, I planted that 45 years ago. Person myself, I've got to just walk back so you can see it. Not a fabulous video, but it's just giving you dimensions. It's close to 6 metres tall, that one. Got a few hundred. I could keep going. But these ones are probably 20 years old. That one there actually flowered and grew some spindly leaves, spindly seeds. This is interesting. Here's a transition of bark from when it was in the shade. We had this plant was growing in the shade, and we had a vicious summer of 50 degrees. It brutally attacked the bark, but I don't mind at all. I love it. The more damaged they are, the better they look from my point of view. You'll never be able to keep them looking good. But the reason why I came over here is to show you, here's where the plant actually grew in the shade for 20 years, because this has been transplanted. And when I transplanted it into the sun, full sun, it's come back to a proper looking trunk here. So there's the transition where it grew in shade for about 20 years. And now this last few years, where it's been returned to full sun, that's what the trunk looks like. And all these ones here have got the same transition, shade growth, full sun growth, but the vertical cracks are happening again because of the extreme heat that we have here, which is near Adelaide, and it recorded the highest temperature of any capital city in the world apparently. Here's the transition of the trunk. It's been in the full sun. That's where I transplanted it in the shade. Again, I'm not worried at all about that cracking. Vertical cracking, I think it's going to look quite good when it goes on in age. And whilst we're at it, I didn't plan this, but I'll show you the rest. I've got a few more, and again, they were all planted by myself from seed. Now when they're in the shade, semi-shade, they tend to remain single trunk. When they're in full sun, they tend to branch and divide. Now this one's probably 10-12 meters tall, and grows right up into the pine tree. I've just left it, but that's what happens when they grow in semi-shade conditions. And I've got another two over here which are 10 meters. Sorry about the shake. Yeah, I'd say that'd be 10 meters. That one there is easily 10 meters, easily. The fence over there is about 3 metres, 2-3 metres. And I've got a hedge. Now I've grown these in the shade, but I can't grow all of my dragons in the full sun because of our summer. It's just so vicious. These are as tall as me, 2 metres down to 1 metre. I absolutely love this dragon blood. This one here is a 5 trunker. It was a 6 trunker, but it's a 5 trunker. And what happened was the next door neighbour came over maybe 30 years ago, or more, 40 years ago when it was this big, and he jumped on it. He was drunk. He jumped on it. I was most disappointed. I thought that's the end of it. I didn't know anything about dragon bloods, but what happened was it actually divided and grew now 5 trunks. So that's one dragon blood tree, but what's called a 5 trunker. Here's some that I've grown thousands, and these ones will be due to be pulled up. They grow quite well in the conditions that I've got here, really. I don't really mind saying that the semi-shade actually helps out the growth of them in our vicious summers. These are about 2 to 3, 4 metres tall, and I've even made use of the footpath. This is where I grow them, and pull them up and put them in pots and all sorts of things. Take you to walk through here. I didn't plan to do this video, so it's very amateur, but I thought, why not? This is the original dragon blood tree that I planted, the very first one that all these ones have been grown from. I've picked the seed and grown them from this very original dragon blood. This is the first one that I've grown. It's probably 50 years old. Very personable shape. And the interesting thing about that one, it somehow, I don't know why, about 30 years ago the trunk, halfway up the trunk, decided to die. Again, I didn't know anything about dragon bloods, but I thought that's the end of it. But what happened was these trunks here are the divisions that occurred from the trunk failing, and that's about 50 years old. And then I've got a couple over here, more over there. I think my count was about 400. Now this one here has been, I think, sold. We decided to sell it instead of straightening up, but it decided to go on a lean. Dragon bloods do that. So I plan to straighten it out one day. It's halfway through it. I'll straighten that one out. This one's 6 metres tall. Again, I planted that from seed. Here's some little babies growing out. There's the trench, which I'm going to force the tree to grow back into. I've pinned it off on that pine tree there. It's been sitting like that for a year. I'll get that straightened or sell it. There is a person interested in it. He's going to bring a big crane and take it away. Now that one's a dracaena Draco. I didn't know much about different species 50 years ago, but I think this is the carbonara. No, it's not carbonara, but carbon something. And grows in the Verdi Islands, so this one's taken on a very short stature. That's what's very normal for them. I like growing things naturally. I just leave the leaves to fall down and mulch the plant, because we need a lot of it here. We need a lot of mulch. Very, very dry where I live. Too dry. Of course, everybody knows that they are not really an arid plant, because they grow on top of the mountains of Socotra, up high in the plateau mountains, 2,000 feet generally in height, where they receive monsoonal rains, cyclones in fact, 2 months of flooding. And just Google Socotra Island and you'll see what looks like an arid landscape, but they're really growing in a very monsoonal area with a lot of water. Okay, that's a wrap up. Again, wobbly video, but I didn't plan to do this video, so just decided to have a bit of a break and go for a walk. So anyway, there's a few hundred here. There's a few more down the end of the driveway, and I was working on the boat, but you can see now there's a car, so you can see the dimension of this dragon. That one there is what I'm talking about. And I'd say 8 metres tall. I did say 10, I'm going for 8. And this one here would be 10 metres tall, I reckon. There's a few down in the driveway here. Again, these are all grown by seed from myself. Look, just one final thing I'll show you. At the same time that I grew all the others in the garden, I put a couple into pots and I bonsaied those dragons, and they're 40 years old. I'll show you my dragon bonsais, which grow in my shade house. More dragons. More dragons. Okay, here we go. These two here are 40 years old. 40 years old. Hello. Been with me for a long time. That one there, and this one here. Can do with a bit of water at the moment, but I don't mind being vicious with these ones because I want to keep them bonsaied. But they are the same age as it's got shade cloth here. I'm looking through it. That's the one that I showed you before. It's probably 6 meters tall, that one there. And this one was planted at the same time, 45 years ago, I guess. Well, that's a wrap. Or is it? No. I actually throw dragons out. Actually, if I don't like them, I'll just toss them out. And if I don't like their personalities or whatever, I just got too many of them. So I've got a compost heap going here. I should have sold them. There are dragon blunts composting. Back to the original. We're in a very old house here, coming up to 150, 60 years old. Okay, see you later. That's it. Bon voyage. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more, just ask me. I've been growing dragon bloods for 50 years. See you later.